Hello. I just thought I'd chime in with some quick thoughts about the Stranger Things finale. It's a long time since we've had some real event television like this, and it's definitely divided people. I'm one of those viewers who thinks that the last episode achieved every main story beat and emotional moment that it needed to. I just think they could have elaborated on some things and maybe shortened others. That's my main critique of it. I found the finale too brief and would have liked to have seen more scenes with Eleven, Max, etc. going through Henry's memories, because to me the surreal nature of those was one of the most compelling things about this past season, and it felt like we were only getting glimpses, probably in order to save certain aspects of the plot for people who go and see the stage play The First Shadow in either the West End or Broadway. So I can understand why they do that in some ways, but in others, I think from a narrative point of view, they needed to address it a bit more. So I would have liked an entire episode to have been split between them traversing his memories as they become more and more abstract and out of order, but also had some scenes with the rest of our heroes fending off Demogorgons, Demobats, Demohedgehogs or whatever, because they were sorely missing from the finale. And then, once the Mind Flayer takes on his spider form, I would have liked to have seen that play out in a similar way to what we already got. But then I would have liked to have seen him revert back to the shadow being that we've seen him in the first 4 seasons, actually seasons 2 to 4 to be precise, because to me that was a far more compelling visual. How do you fight a shadow? And maybe it would have to be a battle of the minds. Maybe it would be another level to it. Maybe, there's something we could have done there, which I think would have been good. And I think that's generally how I feel about it. But to me, the main issue with season 5 is the fact that the Duffer Brothers felt they had to walk back the ending of season 4, which saw great rifts and chasms break Hawkins apart, only for the military to literally put a band-aid over the top, a big metal band-aid, or a plaster as we call in the UK, and then just act like everything's okay. I mean, sure, they had some military presence, but it was business as usual, and to me that felt like a bit of a cheat. So I was a little bit put out at the start of the season when I saw that they'd done that. I felt like they could have done more with that, but I digress. I loved a lot of the stuff they did, the very fairy tale visuals with Holly in Henry's memories. That was very well done. Everything down to her outfit and everything about that. I love dipshit Derek. He was hilarious. And there were some very moving moments between a lot of the characters too. I just wish they'd spent more time on some things and less on others. But yeah, the one thing that really bugged me about this season though was in episode 2 when Eleven referred to her hoodie, and nobody called a hooded sweatshirt a hoodie in 1987. It wasn't a thing. I certainly didn't hear of it as an expression until the 2000s. I don't know when it started to happen in the USA, because I'm in Wales, but it wasn't a thing until the 2000s. There was even a pop song about it by Lady Sovereign. It's very much millennium slang, so to speak. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. Not that it matters in the grand scheme of things, but that the writers had seemingly abandoned their attention to detail, because the one thing that's really set this show apart to me is the fact that the cast have spoken in a way that sounds like they're actually from a film or a TV show in the 80s. It's not a super realistic depiction of the decade, far from it, but it's very close to the one we saw in Hollywood films, which is the point, really. It was season 1 and 2 especially were very much E.T., It, Close Encounters, Goonies, all those sort of things. That was the feel of it, and I think that would have been, you know, something that they would have focused on more. So I just feel a little bit disappointed that it came to that, and I am actually not surprised that some fans are convinced there's a secret final episode, because it did wrap things up a little bit too neatly for my taste. I don't believe it's going to happen, but from a plot point of view, I certainly think it would make sense. But anyway, onwards and upwards. I've loved this show. I'll go back and rewatch it. Probably not the whole thing, but you know, several of the seasons and some key episodes here and there. I've been to Comic Cons, I've dressed up as the characters with my friends, I've met some of the cast, I've discussed it at length, and I've lived in this world when Secret Cinema did their immersive event in 2019 and 2020. I went 3 times in 3 different outfits. So I bloody love Stranger Things. And I'm going to give any spin-offs and future projects that are related to it a chance. Of course I am, but in terms of this final season, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. And that's mainly because the cast was so exceptional in it. So yeah, I'm going to try and do some more videos like this, because I just want to put my thoughts out into the world and see if I can connect with other people and we can have a discussion. So anyway, yeah, thank you for listening. My name is Liam, and I hopefully will speak to you again. Bye-bye.